Stay tuned because you know Reec is going to have one of your favorite stars with him today.
Stay tuned. All right, man, we back at it Friday, first Friday of Black History Month. So we're going to highlight another special group. And when you talk about Black History Month, you cannot talk about it without bringing up the NAACP. We have some wonderful ladies that are putting on a great conference, a part of a huge conference that's going to be going on here very soon, tomorrow. And we're going to be talking about that conference, some of the things that are going on with justice reform and the advancement of colored people. So let's go ahead and give these ladies a warm welcome right now. Let's hit the hype bell early. We got one of my friends that has joined us at many Clippers and Cops events, and she's brought on the Madam President, Miss Barbara Pierce of the NAACP State Conference, as well as my friend. I'm going to call her my friend, my sis, because, you know, we done connected on Facebook and all types of social media platforms. Criminal Justice State Chair, Miss Hildiah Suggs is in the building with us today, too. What's up, ladies?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. You guys have a criminal justice reform that's going down, and it'll be streamed live, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about what criminal justice means for you guys. I know Hildiah has been on the forefront of so many cases. She's been in front of judges' faces. She's been with attorneys and prosecutors trying to help just make sure that people get, if they did do the crime, make sure they get the correct amount of time. If they didn't do the crime, get them from out of the justice system in general. So let's talk about that too, and definitely have a little in-depth conversation with Ms. Pierce.
Sure. I'll let Miss Hildiah start because this is her program. When we put people in charge, we don't micromanage. We let them run the course.
Well, go ahead and put on those track shoes.
Well, I want to start out by saying I believe in justice three ways. I believe in justice for the victims. I believe in justice for the ones who should be exonerated. And I believe in justice for the ones who are deserving of a second chance.
Yes.
And we're having this event is actually tomorrow from 2 to 5 p.m. And I know you will share the information because you have the flyer, of course, for everyone, or they could check out my social media as well, Hildiah Martin Suggs. I have the link on my page as well. We have some significant panelists that will be attending the forum as well. And we have Georgia Brewer Investigation, Miss Nellie Miles. She is the Director of Public and Governmental Affairs. She will be discussing police-involved shootings and also the public and governmental affairs and how everything is handled in those categories. Also, we have Young Guy Sims. She's a juvenile state judge. She will be discussing juvenile justice and juvenile laws, and she's going to touch a little bit on pretrial diversion work. As well, we have a civil and criminal attorney, Attorney Gerald Briggs. He will also be discussing pretrial diversion work from defense side, records restriction, and restoration of rights.
Wow.
We also have from American Stride, Miss Susan Stevens. She will be discussing for the reentry, and she's also an advocate for the Redemption Project. She will be discussing the career development for the ones who's re-entering back into society, and also for transitional housing. And we have Miss Vanessa Williams. She's a peer mentor. She will be discussing the importance of mental health, drug abuse, and addiction.
Wow, you guys got an all-star lineup when it comes to talking about reform, but I also hear a lot of things that have to do with recidivism and things like that too. So you got people coming out so they won't end up back into the system. You're adding those resources.
Right. I want to say that you didn't mention the two youth that we have that are going to actually be on there.
Yes, and I was going to mention we will be having two youth who will be introducing one of our founders, which is the investigating journalist Ida B. Wells.
Okay. All right, I love that. Let me hit that button again for you guys with some hand claps. This sounds like a very informative conference that's going to be happening. And you got people that are affected. So when one person is incarcerated, it affects, of course, them directly. It also affects the victim of maybe who the crime happened to. And then it affects the people that are connected to the person who is being incarcerated, to their family, up and down. I mean, if they have children, maybe they're taking care of a parent or something like that too, or just immediate family. And when those people are wrongly convicted, it affects those people as well, because the person who is the victim and their family, the person who did the crime is still out on the street.
Right.
That's right. And then we have, this is actually part 1. So we have a part 2, a part 3, and a part 4. So for March, we will be having police reform and policing. So I do plan to have Clifford's and cops. I'm just waiting on the confirmation from Ty and also from Curry as well to confirm that, but we will be having some significant people on that panel list as well.
I understand. Now, when it comes down to police reform, let's kind of start there. What does that mean to the NAACP? What does that kind of look like?
Well, police reform is basically bridging the gap between the community and also with police officers as well. So with all of the police involved shootings that's going on, and also the proper training, law enforcement needs the proper training. So that's why we want to invite the Clippers and cops to come educate the citizens, and also for the law enforcement to gather some information from them and obtain that knowledge from them as well.
That makes sense. That makes sense. On the state level, because you guys represent the Georgia NAACP, we know there are different chapters, but we also know the significance that Georgia has had with the history of the NAACP. Some of the most prominent members of it have come from Georgia. And for you guys to be representing with such rich history, what does that mean to you guys?
Well, it means a lot to me to be a civil rights leader, especially in Georgia. And you're right, we have John Lewis that came and others that came in Georgia that's representing, and I probably can't never fill their shoes, but however, I am going to do the best I can to make it the best. And so that's the reason why we're coming up with all these summits and programs. We have, I have brought on a legal redress person that is excellent, and she's going to be part of that panel. And Hildiah has been doing a great job for years. And so when I became the president, I couldn't think of anything other than to keep her on task, because I was down in Brunswick with her doing the Arbery. I was in Coffee County doing the little Purnell that got stung by the stun guns by the policemen. And so she has been working extremely hard, and I'm there to be her support system.
I love that. I love that. I love that support system. We all need that, especially when it comes down to those cases. And see, you guys are on the forefront of some cases that are on the national eyeballs, but then there are also cases that we don't hear about in the news that you guys are kind of pushing and making sure that those families are being taken care of as well.
That's right. And also, I just wanted to say that I also this morning got involved with the FBI on these terrorist attacks on the colleges, and so we're trying to find out and narrow down what is going on with that. That's part of criminal justice. It's just a lot that is going on at this time, and it's a big job, but we can do it. Us women can handle it.
Absolutely. We've heard about those attacks. For those that aren't familiar with those, can you kind of give a rundown of the NAACP's and you guys' perspective, or your perspective, on what's going on with those attacks, and then how you're working with the FBI without saying anything that doesn't need to be said right now publicly?
Well, it's not anything that's a secret. It's just that everything that they are discussing with us is things that are already online. You can read it in the paper. It's no secret about it. You know that they have 6 suspects that are, that they're questioning right now, interviewing, and they're trying their best to, make sure that we have prevention on those campuses. And also they're getting ready to do some training to make sure that people know what to look for. So yeah, the NAACP is, a big part of prevention, resources, and try to do the best that we can in what we are trained to do.
Totally understandable. We appreciate you guys' work on this front line, especially with it helping to advance us as people. You guys are definitely on mission to stick into that. Let's talk about this first set of conferences that's going on, the one that's going down tomorrow. What are some of the things, or what time does it start? And then what are some things that we can tune in tomorrow and catch?
Well, it starts tomorrow at 2:00, ends at 5 p.m. And as I stated earlier, with a lot of citizens having complaints, the reason for these forums is for the citizens to become educated, equipped, and have the resource and get the proper assistance. And also, the best thing that you can do once you become educated, you can fight with the people that's fighting for you.
Right.
So when we fight together, we all win. So it will be discussing where we will open up the Zoom for citizens that's tuned in. If they want to type in the chat and ask their questions for these specific panelists, they are free to do that as well. So we will also have like some questions that we're going to table that we know that a lot of the citizens have written complaints to us on a state level. So we're going to automatically ask those questions to the panelists, then open it up to the citizens to ask their own personal questions.
How does one get involved? So I go to this conference, I hear all this great information, I want to be on the front line. How do they get directly involved with the NAACP moving forward?
Okay, so
go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say that's an easy one. They can call either of us to get the information, and we would turn them on to application. They could actually go online and fill out an application and make sure that they fill it out for the unit, which is in their area. Don't make any mistakes about filling it out for the national, because then they won't be attached to a unit in case later on they want to get involved in that unit. So the membership, just give us a call. I can give you that information. Give us a call, and we want everybody to get involved. That's one of the things that we're trying to do is a membership drive right now, because of all the things that are happening across the nation, not just only in Georgia, but across the nation. We need everybody on board. We need everybody to go to that battlefield with us.
That's wonderful. Can you, do you know, have the number offhand or the website offhand, and we can have
it? You can call 706-577-3197.
Great information. It'll be in our live chat right now, too, for our Facebook and YouTube watchers. For those on the radio side, I appreciate you guys listening. Make sure you write that number now. It's 706-577-3197. And make sure that you guys hit them up. Not right now, because we talking a little bit. But call them as soon as this interview is over with, so you guys can get involved, too. Right now, today's NAACP, we've seen some activations with marches. We've seen protests. We've seen you guys on the courtroom steps. And that's kind of the thing we saw during the civil rights era. But right now with the NAACP, which I'm loving this virtual conference because it's taking a step into what is now. What other things do you guys have lined up that is kind of relevant to being in 2022?
Okay,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're so excited about this here that we all.
I'm loving it. I see it. I feel the excitement.
We are very passionate about. I know some people call that crazy, but we're very passionate about what we do. And being the president and the leader, I have different entities that all come together to make this work, like legal redress. Like next week after this, we have Legislation Day and Founders Day, where we'll also have panelists coming in talking about voter registration, because voter registration is important for everything that we do, is to get the right people in there to represent us. So that's some of the things that I am concentrating on as the leader of the NAACP. But Hildiah, on the other hand, is hitting the streets.
Okay.
She is everywhere. Go ahead.
Yes. I love my people. Okay, so as I stated, the next forum is in March. That is for the police reform and policing. So also for April, we want to implement, instead of just discussing, like with this panel tomorrow, we're discussing records restriction and restoration of rights. So we want to actually host a forum in person where we allow a certain amount of first come, first serve citizens to come out to a forum where they can assist, where we have attorneys available. We may have state judges there and prosecutors there to assist with records restrictions. And also with part 4, we planning on bringing the Attorney General, Department of Juvenile Justice, Department of Corrections, and partisan parole.
Now talk to me about record restriction, because I understand the significance of it, but for the person listening in, they're like, what's that? I mean, they can't pull up my birth certificate. Tell them what record restriction is and how that may help someone change their life.
Well, I do want to allow I'll give a little bit on that, but I do want to allow the panelists to discuss that because that would be a question. But since you asked, I'll state it's restricting the record. So in case an employer try to check your background and everything, it would be restricted for you to have a second chance for employment. But record restriction, and also where you still the NCIC, Georgia as well, can see that, and law enforcement as well. So it's better to just do what you need to do once you release and everything is discharged, and then you can apply for a pardon, and a pardon that actually wipe your entire record out. Even law enforcement, no prosecutor, nobody can see that if you can get approved for a pardon.
Right. And so basically you do your time and pay back what you needed to pay back for society for whatever mistake you made. And now you shouldn't have that hold over your head. If you try to get employment, you try to rent a home, try to find somewhere to stay, trying to get a vehicle, all types of things. And we're not saying heinous crimes. We're talking about within reason.
Yes. And also not only that, it just gives the citizens a second chance to the extreme where they'll be able to work, where if they even have a first time offense, they can actually write on the application that they never been convicted of a crime. Yeah. Even if it's a Georgia 7 deadly sin. If your record is restricted, and you can actually put on the application, and if you're eligible for the first time offense, it's stated that you've never been convicted of a crime. Right.
Now that's great information. I know several.
Also with that, we are trying to start branches in the prisons because we're having a lot of discrimination and inequality in the prison. So we're trying to. They haven't done that in a few years with the NAACP in Georgia, but we have getting piles of letters of concerns of people that are being in there longer than what they're supposed to be in there and being mistreated and trying to stand up for their rights in there, and not being able to really reach out to the community to let the community know what's going on. So we are actually starting a program in the prisons also.
These are great things that you guys are adding into the table. There are so many people that are going to be affected in a positive way from the outcome of you guys' actions. So I want to hit this button again. It's just a round of applause and just to show our appreciation for what you guys are doing and continue to do for the community and for years. I want to ask some personal questions, though, ladies. How in the world did you guys get involved with the NAACP? Let's start with Mrs. Pierce. Could you just let us know how you got involved with the NAACP and what keeps you going?
Okay, so young people, I've been in NAACP for like 30 years now. I started off my local level. I was also the first female president that was elected on my local level. And I came in as a youth advisor, and from my work, and then I was elected on the school board. I did 2 terms on the school board, and was the president of the NAACP at the same time. It was a conflict of interest. I stepped down after a while, and then I became the education chair on the state level for 2 years, and then I became the vice president, and then I just ascended up to the president. So I've been there for 30 years. I have done from education to youth to, just about everything that the NAACP for the last 30 years.
Wow, you've been climbing that proverbial ladder of change for a minute now, getting busy. I like it. Ms. Hildiah, talk to us, because you have a very interesting journey.
Yes. So I actually come from a family of civil rights leaders. My family been NAACP before I was even thought about. But what derived me into becoming the leader that I am today, it started with my son, who was facing a life sentence, and I reached out to the state conference where the former president, Phyllis Blake, she helped me and some of my other colleagues. And once I seen that they was helping me out, I immediately joined the NAACP and found out what they was really about from all of the leaders here, and I just been rolling with them ever since, and I ain't going nowhere.
It's better for, because like I said, if you've done anything in anything in Georgia that has to do with justice reform, you've seen this lady's face or seen her beautiful smile just blow the room up when she comes in and she's speaking her truth. And I love that you guys are so down to earth and so approachable when it comes to, even though you sit at high level positions, it's easy to have a conversation with you. So it's not a turnoff to the everyday person that wants to get involved or wants to try to make change within their own lifestyle.
Yes, and also to be acknowledged to receive a Joe Biden White House Gold Award for my work. I'm just honored.
Yep. Yep. You
And
better
I
speak
thank
your truth.
Black People United for that one.
Yep, there it is. And that's a wonderful award to get. They're not just handing those out.
That's right.
No.
That's right.
So it's a beautiful thing. Okay, guys, I just want to refocus back in tomorrow. This conference is happening tomorrow, 2 to 5 p.m. Make sure that you go to the website, call those numbers that are in the live chat. That's 706-577-3197 right now to get more information from these wonderful ladies that are trying to help the community. And that's what the NAACP is all about. So thank you, ladies,
Also,
for joining
our
us.
website. We have a website too, Reece. I'm sorry.
Talk to me.
It's www.naacpga.org. Join us today. When we fight together, we win.
That's right. And it's in our live chat too for you guys that are just joining in. Shout out to everybody in the chat. They said, great job, Queens. They loving the conversation that you guys are bringing today. So thanks so much. All right, before we get up out of here, let me go ahead and give you guys Reece's peace of mind. And it's coming from these young ladies' speech today, man. Your properly addressed mistakes should not define your future. So the things that you have done in the past that may not be 100% right should not be held over your head and affect your future if you've already repaid back society for what's going on. That's kind of just on the surface level of what this conference is about tomorrow. They have so many great resources tomorrow that's happening at this conference when it comes down to getting things expunged, getting things sealed, getting opportunities for those that are coming back home, and for those that are shouldn't be incarcerated in the first place. There'll be some information on that too. So and then some resources for families that have been victimized by crime. So make sure that you guys tune in tomorrow and be a part of that conference. Thank you so much, ladies. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. All right, guys, listen, we got our mix coming back at you live right now. My boy DJ Decepticon is about to get busy on the radio side. We appreciate you guys tuning in on the video side as well. This has been a broadcast live from Media Campus West, Reec Radio, Reec TV.